Dear students, good evening. Last class we discussed about measurement of diameter using teapot gauge, ball and wire, and telescopic internal gauges, right? And we also discussed about how to measure the unknown angle, that is with the bevel protractor, fine bar, right? And today we see other other instruments for measuring the unknown parameters like area, right? So we have for measuring the area, see the syllabus, area using graphical and numerical methods, and area using a planimeter. Planimeter is a mechanical type planimeter, followed by some other unknown one using comparators. So that may be different categories here: mechanical, pneumatic, electrical, and optical comparators, right? And this time we see it's possible we cover all these concepts right now. The area. So area using say for example planimeter. Area using planimeter. So how do you measure this area using a planimeter, right? Basically, is planimeter. Planimeter. So planimeter is the instrument for measuring uh, area of the unknown. Area of the unknown. Generally, if the shape is a triangle, if the shape is square, if the shape is rectangular, we have some formulas for measuring the area. Area of the square, I mean width into height. You can easily measure. Area of the rectangular, width into the height, like this. For a triangular, like this. So for any regular shapes, we have some formulas for measuring the unknown areas. But the problem is for irregular shapes, irregular graphs, for example, uh, a sine wave. If I draw a sine wave on the paper, how much area the sine wave occupies? How much area it occupies? Or if I if I place my foot, if I place my foot finger say on the paper, that shade or that image, how much it occupies the area? My foot image on the paper, what is the area of the my foot image on the paper? It is very difficult to find out because my foot is irregular shape, my finger is irregular shape, or any diagram, any small doll, simple diagram, if I draw on the paper, the area occupied by the diagram on the paper is difficult to find out. So because it is not a right shape, if it is a standard shape, we can have a formulas and you can easily find out. But for irregular shapes, there is a difficulty. So planimeter is a simple instrument which measures area of the irregular shapes like square wave, I mean like sine wave, like my foot finger, or any diagram of the figure, any shapes, inclined lines, inclined lines. Like this, for irregular shapes, you can easily find out the area. But fine, what is the structure of planimeter, how it looks like. How it looks like. So the planimeter looks like this. What are the parts available in this? Yeah, you can go through the color one. See the color one. See the colorful planimeter. Yeah. So this is the curve to be traced. This is the irregular shape of the curve. How much area it occupies this a solid curve, that we want to measure it. Remember, what are the parts available in this planimeter? Planimeter having two hands. Two hands. One is fixed hand. It is called pole arm. It is called pole arm. Some in some notations, it is so called anchor. So called anchor. Okay. It is called pole arm or anchor. It is one hand. Another hand is the long hand. It is called tracer arm. Tracer arm. This is one arm. This is another arm. Remember, this pole arm. This pole arm is also be called anchor arm. Anchor arm. It is fixed. The anchor arm is a fixed arm. It is fixed at some. Yeah, it is fixed. And this tracer arm is a mobile one. Is a mobile one. So this tracer arm having at this is the point, so called it is called tracer. This tracer, when you fix this arm at one place, and this point will move along the solid line like this. This tracer arm will move along the solid line like this. Like this. Return to the same point. Return to the same point. Okay. Okay. These are the two arms available, and one more. These two arms are fixed at one point. That is called pivot. That is called pivot. And here we have followed by here we have a dial. It is called disc. Disc having some markings. That is also called scale. Dial scale. Dial. Some scale is provided here. And here, just addition to this dial, Christy, in this course. Christy, in this course. Right. Addition to this dial, we have uh, wheel. Is a wheel. This is called wheel. Wheel also having some markings or divisions, some scale. And just followed, just beside this wheel, there is a vernier scale. This is called vernier scale. So there are three scales available here. Say, for example, this is called dial or disc scale, and here is called wheel. Wheel also having some scale. Just here we have a vernier scale, some markings. On the tree we have some markings, but how do you evaluate the reading of the unknown curve area? That is a question. So this area can be evaluated like this. Say for example, you fix the arm at one place because it is fixed arm, and move the tracer along the solid line of the unknown. Yes. move along like this. So it creates one round. So for one round on the dial it shows one or marking one or above, marking one or above. Above is going to be calculated like this. So initially this is the dial scale. Once it is having one rotation, it shows one. If the solid line having one more, say for example, the tracers will move in other solid lines available, say. If it moves, it creates one more circle. So two rounds. When it is two rounds, the dial will show two and above. If take three rounds, the dial will show three and above. So because we have only one round, so the dial scale having only one and above. The marking on the dial is one and above. Okay, fine. Then above, how do you evaluate this above value? One above means one is right, and above is how we can evaluate, how to determine that value. Yes, the above can be estimated like this. Yeah, as I said you, this is called a wheel. Wheel also having markings. How many markings here? 100 divisions. Generally, 100 divisions are there. Remember, when the tracer moves from here to one round, the wheel also moves. Wheel also moves. How much it moves? If it is a one round, wheel also showing some value. You take that value among the 100 divisions. The vernier, sorry, the wheel showing some value, say for 15 or 25 or 38. It shows some value in between 0 to 100. You take that value. For example, it is 28. 1 above means 1.28. You have to write like this, 1.28. Next, followed by vernier. Vernier having some, when the tracer having one rotation and the wheel having some rotations, vernier shows some value that we have to, that will show some value that we have to add. For example, because of the dial we have 1, because of the wheel we have 28, 1.28, vernier showing some other value on the scale. So take that value. So 1.28, for example, it is 5, so 1.285 square meters. Square meters. Meter square. Because it is area. Area of the unknown. So generally the output of this uh, output of this uh, planning meter having at least four values, four digital values, four numerical values, 1.245 or 2.869, any value. The first letter shows that the dial value. After the point we have two value. The two value comes from the wheel, scale on the wheel, and the remaining last digit that is calculated from vernier one. So when the tracer moves along the curve, then only the disc as well as the wheel moves. It shows some values. Suppose if you come to the, if you are going like this and you are coming same line means it doesn't move. That wheel doesn't move. If you come other line, it will move. Okay. So if it completes one rotation, the dial, the wheel, the vernier calipers, all are showing the value. So like this, the unknown can be calculated. See, this is a simple handwritten diagram. So this is called a point tracer point, tracing arm. It is called anchor arm, but that is called pole arm. Pole arm nothing but anchor arm. Anchor arm. Anchor arm is fixed. needle point. We have to fix at one point. You can fix outside the outside the outside the I mean the unknown one or inside the unknown one. That is your wish. Okay, right. So like this, we can measure this. Yeah, the same one, the same diagram showing the explanation for this planimeter mechanical. Okay, planimeter simply measures area of the unknown of irregular shapes. Irregular shapes. Okay. Uh, next, next. In the syllabus, we have comparators, right? We have comparators. So, what is a comparator? Simply, you have you have some um, generally this comparator is a precision instrument. What is a comparator? Comparator is a precision instrument which is used to compare the dimensions of the given component. It compares dimensions of the given component with the actual working standard. So it compares the dimensions with the standard one. With the standard one. So what dimensions it is going to be measured? It compares. So dimensions may be here: roughness, smoothness, any irregularities, any up and downs, any up and downs, any corner polishness, polish, rough surfaces, like this. So any of the just now uh, like I said, rough surface, smooth surface, irregularities, up and down, corners, finishing, finishing edges. So any one dimensions it can be compared. It can be compared. Whether they are smooth, whether is there any rough surface, whether any irregularities, everything it can be compared. So that instruments comes under comparator. Comparator compares the dimensions of the unknown with the standard. With the standard. If any irregularities are there, it will show here there is irregularity. Any smoothness is there? Yes, this is a smoothness. This is a polished shape, polished surface. Like it will show all this the thing if you want to measure it. Okay, types of comparators. So there are different types of comparators are there for knowing all these. But before going to know the types of comparators, we have to know the requirements, fundamental requirements. So what actually uh, what actually we are expecting with the comparator? Comparator is an instrument, no doubt, or is a comparator is an arrangement, is an arrangement. So that should have some requirements. So if the comparator satisfies all the requirements, then that is suitable for knowing the unknown dimensions. What are the requirements? Generally, the comparator, the instrument, the comparator or instrument must be of robust design and construction. So చాలా చక్కగా నువ్వు కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేసి ఉండాలన్నమాట. Why we need to rightly construct it? Because so it will be useful without impairing its measuring accuracy. So there should be no deviation in the accuracy. So if you are rightly constructed, there is no problem of accuracy. It will show accurate values, accurate dimensions. Okay. That is a major requirement. Second requirement is the instrument should be free from backlash. Backlash means uh, you know deadbeat. Deadbeat means if I give input to the instrument, I am expecting some output. If I am not expecting, it takes some time. That is called backlash. That's called dead time, deadbeat, or backlash. So that type of instruments cannot be useful for construction of the your comparator. Okay, so that should be free from backlash, and that should be made for maximum compensation for temperature effects. So that should not, so the instrument should not suffer with the temperature effects. That's the important of this requirement. Okay, if it is affected, so we need to have some compensation. We need to have some compensation. Right. Next, uh, the scale must be linear and must have straight line characteristics. So we have to provide the calibration scale for any instrument, any comparator with linear scale. So if it is a linear scale, you can easily read out. And the indicator should be constant in it written to zero. So what type of indicators we have to place in the construction of a comparator? Generally, if there is a value, the indicator will show some value. If there is no value, it comes to zero. It comes to zero. Without any value, it doesn't show any value. I mean, it doesn't show any reading. వాల్యూ లేకుండా రీడింగ్ చూపించకూడదు. ఏదైనా ఉంటే రీడింగ్ చూపించాలి, లేకపోతే జీరోలో ఉండాలి. దాని మీనింగ్. A instrument should be sensitive. It should be highly sensitive. Sensitive కాకపోతే, if there is a rough surface, it doesn't show rough. What is the use of the instrument? If it is a rough surface, it will show rough. If it is a polished surface, it will show polished surface. Otherwise, if it is not showing any value for variation, the rough and irregular shape, what is the use of this instrument? So it should be very sensitive. Instrument must be maximum versatile. Versatile means it should be applicable for wide range of operations. అంటే ఎక్కువ సార్లు అది పని చేయాలి, ఎక్కువ ఆపరేషన్స్కి అది ఉపయోగపడాలి. రెండు వాల్యూస్కి అది పనికి రాకుండా అయిపోతే దానివల్ల మనకి ఏం యూజ్ ఉంటుంది. షుడ్ బి యూస్ఫుల్ ఫర్ వైడ్ రేంజ్ ఆఫ్ అప్లికేషన్స్, మ్యాక్సిమం వర్సటైలిటీ. అండ్ వన్ మోర్ ఈజ్ మెజరింగ్ ప్రెజర్ షుడ్ బి లో అండ్ కాన్స్టెంట్. దట్ మీన్స్ it should not be a problem with the pressure. It should not be a problem with the pressure and forces. That should be low and constant. Okay, these are the basic requirements of a comparator before going to manufacture. If you want to manufacture a comparator for some application, that comparator should have all these characteristics, all these requirements. Okay, that's about this one. Okay, next one. What are the types of comparators? So there should be, as per syllabus, we have 4 types of comparators: mechanical comparators, electrical comparators, optical comparators, and pneumatic comparators. So what is the main intention of this comparator? What is the main function of the comparator? The main function of the comparator is it will measure the dimensions. It will compare the dimensions. Not measuring, it will compare the dimensions. What is my dimension and what is actually dimension present? What dimension I want, but what actually it is present? I am expecting smoothness with high high smoothness I am expecting, but the surface is irregular surface. So if it is irregular surface, it will show that the comparator will show that there is a irregular surface, so that I can rectify it. I am expecting rough surface, but there is a smooth surface. So the comparator will show that smooth surface. So if comparator will detect the smooth surface, I will rectify. I will rectify. Where is a smooth surface? Where is irregular surface? Where is the corners? Where is the holes available on the surface? I can detect it. If I am able to detect all these dimensions with the comparator, they are useful for my application. Okay, how best you can detect all these dimensions? You can detect all these dimensions in different ways. You can apply mechanical principles, electrical principles, optical principles, or pneumatic principles. You apply any technique, but our aim is to detect or to know the actual dimensions of the unknown. Okay, and here we have mechanical comparators. Mechanical comparators. So what is a mechanical comparator? For example, I am listing the number of comparators here. Say for example, dial indicators, lever comparators, sigma comparators, Johnson microcator, retype comparator. Okay, these are different types of comparators mechanically. Yeah, see the dial indicator. So what is the dial indicator? Suppose here, see the dial indicator. So the dial indicator we have some markings. We have some markings followed by a pointer. So it is called a revolution counter, and this is called markings. Reading, dial, reading dial. Okay, here this is a stem. It is a stem, and here a plunger. At the end we have removable contact point. Removable contact point. Remove it and connect to the surface where you need to know, where you need to compare the surface. Okay, if you place the point plunger point on the surface, if it is smooth one, no problem. If there is any irregularities, from smooth to irregularity, the plunger will take some displacement, so that the dial will, the pointer will show some value. The pointer will show some value. So that when the pointer doesn't show any value, it means that the complete surface is smooth. If pointer shows other than zero value, what we understood, the surface is not smooth. There is maybe having some holes or any irregularities or any rough surfaces. So it will create like this. It will show like this. Any shape, this shape, dial indicator, or this is also dial indicator, this is also dial indicator. Different shapes of the structures of the dial indicators. So why it is mechanical? Mechanical means we are directly, a plunger is mechanically connected to the surface. So it is called mechanical a comparator. Okay. Next one, electrical comparator. So electrical comparator is also another technique. Another technique. So it gives output in terms of voltage. It gives output in terms of voltage or current. How this will give in terms of voltage or current? If there is a variation in the surface. Say for example, is a spring. It is armature. This armature is placed in the two coils. This armature is fixed at one point, right? And this armature may be moved between two coils with the help of dynamic spring connected to a plunger. This plunger corner placed on a surface where we want to compare the dimensions. Compare the dimensions. See, if the plunger is attached to surface, if there is no deviations, the output, the induced output in the induced voltage in the coil is zero. It's nothing but LVDT. Nothing but LVDT construction. So if the plunger doesn't detect any deviations on the surface, say complete it is smooth surface or completely smooth surface, the armature doesn't take any movement, doesn't take any displacement between these two coils. So when it is not taking any displacement, the induced EMF in the coil is zero, so the bridge is balanced, output is zero. Output is zero. So other than the smooth surface, plunger detects any smooth to irregular. The plunger takes a movement. Plunger take a irregular movement so that the armature will move inside the armature. Sorry. The the armature arm will move between the two coils. When the armature arm moves in between the coils, EMF will induce, bridge is unbalanced. How much bridge is unbalanced? That will give you the surface is not smooth. There should be some problem with the surface. That dimensions you can detect it with the electrical concepts. In the previous one, no electrical output, directly a mechanical output you are expecting, dial indicator. On the dial will give you some value. But here it will give some voltage based upon the voltage or current. We have to know the dimensions. Next one, next one is optical comparator. So for detecting the surface, we can use light signals. Light signals. How? See. Yeah, this is the mirror. Mirror is provided. Mirror. It is a plunger. It is a plunger. And above the mirror, we are fixing the lamp. Fixing the lamp. And here we have to observe. We have to observe the when the light will fall on the mirror, it will reflect like this. That we want to observe it. We want to observe it. Or you can measure the angle. You can measure the angle. So if the surface on the plunger doesn't detect any deviations, whatever the light will fall on the mirror, that will reflect back and we can detect the same light with some angle. But if the plunger detects any deviations, plunger detects any inclination, say for example, deviation, some alpha, what happens? When the light will fall on the mirror, the light should go like this, some angle on the screen. But see, it provides some other angle. So we are detecting this reflected light like this. So detected light rays may be different other angles. So angle is going to be modified. Why the angle of the light is going to be modified? Because the plunger detects the dimensions. If no deviations, same alpha. Because of the deviations, alpha is not a simple one, it is 2 alpha. Angle is modified. Reflected light may take other angles. So based upon that angle, with the help of light, we can say that the surface is not smooth. It may be having some other dimensions. Other dimensions. So how we are detecting the dimensions? Of course, we are using the plunger, but we are not using any dial. We are not using any electrical signal. but we are using here light signal. So you are using light signal, concept of reflection, so it comes under optical, optical, I mean comparator, optical comparator. Okay. Next one, the lastly, next one, lastly, yeah. Pneumatic comparators. Pneumatic comparators. So what is pneumatic? So is the other technique. In the first case, we are using a dial, mechanical dial. In the second case, we are using LVT, which converts motions into electrical signals. So electrical concept we are using. In the third case, we are converting the dimensions into light signal, light deviations. So optical. Lastly, we are using pneumatic concept. What is pneumatic concept? Pneumatic means air pressures. Air pressure. So with the air pressure, we have to detect or we want to compare the dimensions. How it is possible? That is possible with pneumatic comparator. See the diagram I will show. This diagram, this is the workpiece. This is the workpiece. This is the surface. On the surface, we want to detect the surface smoothness, say for example. Before that, see the construction of the pneumatic comparator. What is there? This is completely a container with opening 1, 2, 3, three openings. Opening 1 having some U2 manometer, U2 manometer, having some pressure scale. It shows some pressure scale. Show some pressure scale. Okay. It is our second opening. Air supply at constant pressure. It is a control jet C. Is a opening. Air, when air is supplied through this, that opening so called a control jet C. Control jet C. So through this constant air is supplied into the chamber. Into this chamber. Fine. And other opening is there. Other opening. This is called gauging jet. Gauging jet. Gauging jet. Through that some air is outlet. Air is outlet. Okay. So for the construction and for the unknown workpiece, unknown for this workpiece, you want to find out the smoothness. So just place near to this the pneumatic comparator, just near to this. When the surface doesn't have any deviations, any roughness, any irregularities, whatever the air will come like this, will fall on this, will fall on this. So it shows that a constant pressure value on the manometer. When the surface is moved like this, when the surface having some irregularities or any rough surfaces, so there is a deviation in the pressure. Deviation in the pressure. That deviations you can observe on the manometer. If there is a deviations on the surface, then because of this Bernoulli's concepts, that deviation of the pressure will detect on the manometer. Manometer. How much deviations in the pressure will occur? That is proportional to the irregularities present on the. That means that there should be the irregularity on the surface. Okay. So if the surface is smooth, constant pressure you can observe on the manometer. If surface is not smooth, you can observe difference in pressure value you can observe. So because of pressure, the dimensions are compared, so it named as pneumatic comparison. Okay, dear students, uh, uh, Comparator simply compares that dimensions. Okay, you can apply any method like mechanical, electrical, optical, and pneumatic. You can apply any method, but the four are in the syllabus. These four are available in the syllabus. Okay. Now I am going to stop the class, right? And if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Or if you want to speak anything to say, you can speak with me.